G'day everybody, welcome back to Baldur's Gate 3. We are still in Rivington, Worm's Fortress, precisely. And we've just had a lot of stuff happen, actually, in the previous episode. We met Gortash, and unfortunately we can't really fight him. We tried, and we got absolutely obliterated. I don't know what I was really expecting there. I'm sure there is a way to win that fight if you were like really prepared and careful and all that sort of stuff, so you could probably get through it, but yeah, I guess the alternative way is that we had to I guess make a deal with him somewhat and see if we can deal with Orin first. I'm certain that once we've dealt with Orin, we're probably going to finish the job, so to speak, with Gortash. But before we do anything else, yes, there is going into the lower city here, but I just want to have a chat with Mizora, because Mizora should be just waiting for us over here, and I want to see if she has anything else to say about this entire situation. Actually, do we even want to speak to Mizora immediately? The only reason why I say that is because, considering the amount of stuff that happened in the previous episode, it's probably a good idea for us to go and have a long rest. So maybe we should do that first before even having a chat with Mizora. And then from there, we get to sort of, you know, continue on with the journey. But there's a lot of stuff that I actually wanted to do, and I also wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about some of the stuff that I've actually done between episodes. So, for one, you will notice that the hotbar for all of our characters, at least the ones that are with us at the moment, I have sort of tidied up, and I have sort of grouped together a little bit where, you know, they all sort of make sense to be grouped up. Just so that it's a lot easier for me to sort of find the spells that I want to cast. I suppose with Blue, I haven't exactly done all of these ones, to be honest, but look, he doesn't really have too many spells to begin with, so it's not going to be too difficult for us to find what we need. Another thing that I did spend a lot of time doing is tidying up inventory, especially for Blue, and also just making sure that everyone has a few consumables that they might need during combat, you know, just in case sort of stuff. And you would notice that I've got a lot of the elixirs sort of tucked away now at the camp. And the reason for that is because, well, I'm gonna want to start getting used to the idea of having an elixir as soon as I finish, you know, having a long rest. So it'll be, you know, part of a routine, including popping Longstrider on, you know, other spells, etc, etc. So yeah, I'm hoping I'll be able to do that consistently. Another thing is, I've also started to plan a little bit more for the consumables that I might want to use, especially on Blue. I've got a few scrolls with him, obviously, so well, he's got all of the scrolls still, and we probably want to start making use of some of those scrolls when we can, when it makes sense to. So again, we'll see if I can actually do that consistently. Another thing that I did do is play around with a whole bunch of equipment, and to see if I can, you know, equip a lot of our guys with the best stuff. So I did have some thoughts on what we wanted to do, so I might actually just get started and get the people that I want.
I've had a lifetime's fill of watching little men buff themselves up with grand titles. I look forward to the day we show the Archduke that his tongue is not half so silvered as he thinks.
And yeah, the reason why I didn't do it just off camera is mainly because, well, we've got a whole bunch of conversations to have with people considering what happened with Gortash in his coronation. So, well, you know what? We can't pick a fight while he's surrounded by his steel watch.
We could, it would just be a very short one.
Wow.
We cannot expect either of the chosen to fall easily. But fall they must, if we're to have all 3 stones to command the brain. Still, if you see sense in making an alliance, I won't question it. I'll just look forward to the inevitable breaking Gortash spoke of.
Yeah. I think this alliance is something that we can't really get out of for now. And what do you think of his warning of the doppelganger in our camp?
It would be irritatingly true to form, would it not? A Harper learns to doubt, to peer through every smile, question every look. Eventually, you find what it is you fear, whether it is there or not. When we cannot know, we can only trust. But then, that is exactly what a traitor in our midst would say. Isn't it?
You mentioned there might be another way to find Minsk.
There might be, but it's not a path I tread until we must. Let it wait until the city proper. Perhaps I'll have had a better idea by then.
Alright.
You'll need to free up your ranks a little first.
So, let's grab Jaheira, and I'm gonna say maybe we should just put Gale away.
Then let us be about it.
So, as far as I remember from my experimentation, I'm probably not going to do too much with Gale's equipment. He's got the right stuff on him. But I am going to make a few different changes here for the people that we have and the people that haven't joined our party as well. I'm looking at Karlak primarily because there's a lot of good stuff that we probably want her to have. So let's take a look at our stuff and let's start equipping. So I still think that Blue has got the best equipment that, you know, the game has to offer for now, for, you know, his build. So no changes here. Yeah, I do like all of the rings and stuff like that he has as well, so that's all good. Let's move on to Lae'zel. So for Lae'zel, one interesting change that I would like to make, maybe a couple of interesting changes here, or maybe just one. But we might take the Helldusk armor off and replace that with what we managed to get from our fight with Ketheric. So the Reaper's Embrace. This brings her armor class up to 19, and I think it'd be really good for her because we've got a reduction of 2 straight up, and she's got this ability from this called Reaper's Rigidity. Now, it is a bit tricky here because, you know, she basically won't be able to be moved, but she will have disadvantage on Dex saving throws. So, and then there's Howl of the Dead. So, it numbs nearby enemies, and if we take a look at numb, basically, your movement speed is halved. Spellcaster has an advantage on attack rolls against affected entity. So it does affect all nearby creatures though, so I believe this is something that we need to be a little bit careful about using. But yeah, if we cast this and then just wail away at whoever is affected, we should have advantage on all of those attack rolls. So I think this is really good. I really still like the flawed Helldusk armor though, but I think it's time for a change. So let's swap this out. In fact, I'll just... where is it? There. And you know what? I might actually reserve this for Shadowheart. Shadowheart could potentially make use of the flawed Helldusk armor. Anyway, that's what we're going to do with Lae'zel. We still have the right weapons, I feel, for her. Titan String Bow is still good as well, because obviously she's strength heavy. And that's that for Lae'zel. Let's take a look at Will now. And one thing that we did do the last time we looked at Will was to equip the Swire's Sledboard. And when we were having that battle with Gortash and his Steel Watchers, Will really managed to evade a lot of those attacks, and I think it's thanks to the shield conduit, potentially, or was it because of something else? I feel like he really survived quite a long time. But anyway, the shield is still staying, but what is now a problem, thanks to replacing the shield, is the boots that he's got on. And this is something that's really tricky, because I feel like we don't really have a decent pair of boots to replace it. The bone spike boots are good, but that's probably a Karlach piece of equipment, so I'm gonna reserve it for her. Boots of Apparent Death, Feigned Death, I don't know if we're really going to be using that. And then Boots of Brilliance, Restore Bardic Inspiration, we're not a bard. This is all about unarmed attacks, which is obviously not happening for us. Hoarfrost Boots, so cannot fall prone while traversing icy terrain. This seems like a decent option, or we go with Mistress Grace, which will let him basically cast Featherfall whenever we need it. So in terms of benefit, I feel like Mistress Grace is probably going to be better, just because we've had a lot of situations where we've needed Featherfall constantly. And everything else, I mean, Spider Step, pretty good, but very specific situations. And then Acidic Surfaces here, or Caretaker's Care, again, very specific situations there as well. So I feel like being prepared for Featherfall, or the need to use Featherfall, is probably better. And that's probably the change that I'm going to do for Will. Let me have a look here. So I think we're looking decent on the rings. Lae'zel is missing one ring, so she could take another ring. This is one thing that we got from Ketheric as well, if I'm not mistaken. Possibly. But I was looking at all of our rings the other day, and I thought, maybe this is not so bad, having Sunwalker's Gift. So basically you can just automatically see in the dark for up to 12 meters. And it's better than not having anything in the slot. So I think it's pretty decent. Amulet-wise, yeah, I can't say that there is a amulet that I really want to use. Heat is interesting, but it does mean that we would be taking some fire damage automatically, so that could be a bit of a concern. We could do Frost Prince to get Ice Knife, Hammergrim Mist Amulet. Elemental Augmentation. Probably not good for Lae'zel, because she doesn't really have anything decent for spellcasting. Relies on her strength. I thought we had the Sentient Amulet taken from us, but we actually still have it. I don't think this is really any good. Key Restoration, again, we probably need a monk for that. Shah's Temptation, Tarnished Sham. Yeah, I think we can keep the silver pendant for guidance for now. I know we've got guidance on will as well. Or another alternative is you could just like keep this ready and you can switch to it if you need to. Let's circle back to that.
The pride of the gate.
And then Jaheira. So with Jaheira, what I was sort of thinking of doing was to keep her using scimitar and shield. But I think one of the more important things that we haven't done is to equip her with better armor. And that is primarily my fault because I thought that she could only use light armor for whatever reason, but actually she does use medium armor as well. So with that in mind, we may actually have some decent options for her, just to bring her her armor class up a little bit more. And we can also give her a cloak. I would probably just give her the nymph cloak here immediately and, you know, be done with it. I know it's probably not the most useful, to be honest, but it's better than not having any cloak whatsoever. Her shield, though, excuse me, Shield of Devotion. So you gain 1 level 1 spell slot. Okay, big deal. Aid, again, big deal. She's not really going to be like a healer, primarily. So I'm thinking we want to swap to Ketheric's shield here. And the main reason for that is because this has arcane enchantment, gaining a +1 bonus to spell save DC and attack rolls. So obviously armor class is going to stay the same. And I was sort of thinking of switching to the Dark Justicier's gauntlets here as well, potentially, or hang on, Gloves of Battle Mage's Power. You get Arcane Acuity, or weapon attacks deal an additional 1 to 4 necrotic damage. I think this is probably the better one for us because I feel like we are going to be doing some weapon attacks, particularly with... I assume this counts if we do Flame Blade. I could be wrong. Plus, I feel like she doesn't really have a lot of cantrip options that would apply. Hang on, one sec. When you hit with a spell or cantrip that uses a weapon, you gain Arcane Acuity. Oh, okay, right. Oh, this is tough then. Yeah, I guess I was misunderstanding this. Affected entity has a +1 bonus to spell attack rolls. I think all things considered, maybe the Battle Mage's Power is better. Because we'd be doing Flame Blade or using our Scimitar. And then we would gain Acuity, and then we could, you know, cast spells, and they should be a lot stronger after the fact. But anyway, let me throw some of these to camp. And let's just tighten things up here in the camp as well. And yeah, we do need to decide on a piece of armor for her. So I do want to go to a medium set. So I'm just having trouble remembering which one I wanted to use. And I think I ended up considering the Jolty Vest. And with that, perhaps we do want to switch from Boots of Elemental Momentum. So Momentum's alright. But I think if we can get some dashes in. So this is where perhaps we could, you know, swap the boots that Will was using and pop that onto Jaheira instead. Maybe we can then make use of some of these lightning charges, and we get an additional +2 to our armor class, which is quite strong, in my opinion anyway. I mean, it's a straight up armor class improvement, so that should be decent for us. And we're getting arcane acuity from here and from our gloves. So yeah, should be good. And that's all 3 of them, but we do still want to grab a few others. I believe I didn't really make any changes with Wholesome, but I do want to make some changes with Shadowheart and Karlach. So let's just quickly do that now.
I've got a long road ahead.
Soldier. You know I'm up for it, but your party's a little full. Excellent.
And we do need to do some leveling for Karlach. And let's grab Shadowheart.
An imposter in our ranks. If this is true, it could be anyone. You, me... Well, not me, I know who I am. Perhaps we shouldn't take Gortash's word for granted. But if he speaks the truth, we need to be careful. Orin could have eyes and ears on us right now.
So the Sharons are using a place called the House of Grief as cover for their presence in Baldur's Gate.
Then that's where we need to go. My parents are in there somewhere.
Yep, we'll definitely go there.
Why, hello, lover. That sounded more debonair in my head, I'll admit. Do you need something?
You should join me.
Your dance card is full. Lose a partner and there'll be room for me.
So let's
Wonderful.
replace Lae'zel for now. And I think we have everyone that we need, so let's just do our equipping.
No time to dally.
Right. Again, not entirely sure if this is the right weapon for us. Perhaps maybe a different weapon, such as Lathander's Light, is still better. I was considering as well, because Jaheira was a bit of a difficult character to give weapons to, but would Jaheira benefit from using Lathander's Light? I was sort of considering that quite a bit between episodes. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are on that, guys. If you think it's worthwhile, then perhaps maybe we can do that. But yeah, so we've got the Dark Justicier's half plate. Again, this was something that I was considering for Jaheira because it's medium armor, but I don't know. I just didn't really like some of the stuff that it gave us. Shar's Aegis doesn't seem to be too exciting, although it does give us 16 armor class. Like, is it worth it to just go with a straight up, you know, improvement on like armor class? I don't know the answer to that. Again, you can let me know what your thoughts are, but I think I'll send this to camp for the time being. And yeah, just looking at our options, we have the Flawed Helldusk armor, and I think this might be good. So switching from her medium armor to a heavy armor. I think that could be decent for us. She looks pretty badass here as well with that armor. And I think we're still getting a few benefits that I really liked from before. No Radiant Shockwave, which is a shame, but I'm okay. We still have Radiating Orb from the Luminous Gloves. I think I'm pretty happy with that. Because, yeah, we're obviously still going to be using Spirit Guardians and stuff with her, and using that quite regularly. So we probably don't need the Moon Lantern anymore. Let's just have a look at her other gear. We have Salving and Whispering Promise. When you heal a creature, it gains plus 1d4 bonus to attack rolls and saving throws for 2 turns. Yeah, okay, cool. I think we're going to keep things largely as is, but the biggest change is going to be for Karlach, obviously, because we've got quite a lot of new toys for her. So let's take a look. We only gave her the halberd recently, and it's been good so far, but I'm kind of curious about this weapon, the Dancing Breeze. Halberd does, you know, a lot more damage straight up, but I'm curious about this attack here, this whirlwind attack, which deals the same amount of damage. It does require a short rest, but I assume you can actually attack multiple enemies. So if we can get her in the mix and, you know, have her do the whirlwind attack, could be beneficial for us. That's the only real reason that I want it. +1 to initiative, advantage on perception, adroit reflexes. When you make an attack roll as a reaction, you make it with advantage. Yeah, so she can get a lot of her opportunity attacks landing with this. I can see why it's so powerful, but anyway, I might switch to it though, because, yeah, I mean, why not? Just playing around with it. But if you guys feel strongly about the halberd, let me know. But I'll give this a try. Now, the beauty about the Dancing Breeze, though, is that you can opt to take, like, a shield with you, right? So, my assumption, then, is you'll do less damage because you're using it one-handed, but I assume you can still do the whirlwind attack even if you had a shield on you. In which case, I'd probably give her the Shield of Devotion, or perhaps maybe any other shield, really. But I think Shield of Devotion is the best one for us. I mean, it gives us like a +1, sorry, 1 level 1 spell slot. I don't know, maybe we could consider giving her Ketheric's shield, although spell save DC and spell attack rolls, this is probably a little bit better for a spellcaster. Anyway, let's come back to the shield in a second, because there are other more important things here. Bone Spike Garb? Yes, please. So, this, I think, gives her a little bit more. No, actually, it's the same armor class. So, that hasn't climbed just yet. But it does have some really good benefits here. Slab Jaw Determination, 15 temporary hit points whenever you rage. So we go into rage, you know, pretty often, obviously, with Karlach. Exoskeletal Endurance, reducing all incoming damage by 2. When the wearer is struck by melee attack, the attacker takes 3 piercing damage. So you're dealing damage even if you're taking some damage, which is good. And then combine that with also this. Horns of the Berserker. So Seeking Blood, basically you deal more damage to enemies that have already taken damage, and then Bloodthirst. Melee attacks will deal an extra 2 necrotic damage as long as you don't have your full health. If you don't deal any damage this turn, you'll take 1 to 4 necrotic damage, which is kind of interesting. So we need to not be at full health, but we will take necrotic damage if we don't deal damage initially. So I don't know if there's a way we can automatically bring her health down to, say, just 1. But anyway, so we're trading off more momentum though with Haste Helm, but I think it's a decent trade. And we have any... Yeah, there were a pair of boots that we also wanted to give her, so here. She's definitely looking the part now. I don't know if there's a pair of gauntlets that that match this set, but anyway, this one gives us an additional armor class rating, as long as we're not wearing armor or holding a shield. So I guess that's already going to be the answer to the question of whether or not we should be, you know, holding a shield or not, because we want to get that benefit instead, and we can just deal that extra little bit of damage. Otherwise, we can again switch to the halberd if things don't pan out for us. But let's send all of that to camp. And because Karlach needs a bit of a level up, we may as well do that now. Okay, what do we have here? So, intimidating presence. Menace an enemy and instill a terrible fear within them. You can use maintain intimidating presence to prolong the target's fear. Okay. It is an action though, so I guess you'd have to be pretty comfortable not dealing any damage if you decided to do that. If the target resists this effect, it can't be targeted again until it long rests. Huh. Okay. Anyway, not too much work there. Although, what I tell you is going to be a lot of work. Shadowheart. So, I have decided at this point to try and respec Shadowheart to, you know, I guess, bring out her full potential as a war cleric.
Thou hast now a bosom companion. Take care that thou art not distracted on thy quest, seeking the comforts of the flesh.
Excuse me?
Recall that in time, all becomes dust and bone. Fate spit. Dost thou require a new ally?
Alright, let's change our class, and... So yes, we are going to be a cleric still. In terms of our cantrips, I think the best would be those three, at least initially. And then the subclass we're going to keep as War Domain. And yeah, I'm going to try my best here. Again, I've probably done this like multiple times at this point, but I think that's what I'm going to do. And we're going to go pretty strength heavy this time around. We do still want a decent amount of wisdom, decent amount of constitution, and decent amount of dex as well. So we could do something along those lines, though. I'm just trying to balance things out because yeah, I always have trouble here. Yeah, making sure that I expend all of my ability points. Is that decent? Do we go in with more dex? We got +2, which means, you know, decent for armor, but our constitution is a bit low. I think I can accept that. She's not exactly our tank, is she? I mean, she can tank for a little bit, but I think this is decent. And then when we do our feats, we can grab additional ability points. We'll leave wisdom at 16. I think that's fine because, you know, it'll still give us a pretty good chance to land stuff. But I think we're going to try and get in close to enemies and try to do some damage that way. So that's the plan. Again, I'm looking forward to hearing about how badly I've fumbled this respec. But let's do our level ups. And I'm gonna try and fly through this so because we can prepare all of our spells later on anyway, so I'm not going to really look at that too much. It's just when we have feats and when we have cantrips, that's probably where I'll pay a little bit more attention. So cantrips, from a utility standpoint, I think maybe having light would be good, so we can just illuminate things if we need to. Toll the Dead seems pretty interesting as well, but I think we do get another cantrip anyway, so I could probably choose that then. But this is probably the most important thing. So let's put in a couple more on strength. So again, once more. I think we've got a feat here as well, so let's pop another couple into strength there as well. I don't know if we get another feat down the line. It'll be good to pump up a bit more into wisdom, just so that we're landing a lot more of our, you know, spells and cantrips as a result. But I think, yeah, this is what we're going to go for. We should have a couple more levels. Yeah, she doesn't really have a lot of health, does she? So it does make me a little bit worried. Let's do, yeah, Toll the Dead. And we can prepare our spells here, we may as well. So let's take out what we don't want. Hold Person could be good. Let's take a look. So from our level 1 spells, maybe we start with all the healing stuff because, yes, she is still going to be healing. Revivify, I think, could be good. Prayer of Healing can only be used outside of combat. Yeah, I haven't really used this very often, have I? But it is an option after we finish combat, for instance. Especially if a lot of people are injured. Heal all allies, you can see. Yeah, sounds pretty good. We definitely use Sanctuary quite a bit, so we'll get that in. Bless, we have used quite a bit as well. Guiding Bolt, I could take that. Level 2s. Hold Person could be good. Beacon of Hope, I like. Glyph of Warding, which we haven't used, but I would like to try to use. Guardian of Faith, absolutely not. We've learnt our lesson with Guardian of Faith. And... oh, I forgot to choose Mass Cure Wounds, but we definitely want that in the mix. And... yeah, I suppose we can take Insect Plague. Haven't really used that, but I think that's what we're going to go with. Now, I did mention at the beginning of the episode that, you know, I'd spent a lot of time tidying up our hotbars. That was only for the 4 characters that we started off with. I haven't cleaned up the hotbars for everyone else.
Whatever it takes.
Does her portrait always stay that way with her black hair, or does it change? I thought she had white hair in the portrait. But anyway. Not important. So, let's come back, and I do want to come back to... what do we want to do here? Do we want to do Karlach and perhaps Lae'zel, or maybe not. Maybe we leave Lae'zel because we've got Karlach as the tank now. Will's our spellcaster, or primary spellcaster. Just having a look at the equipment that we are using once more. Yeah, I think this is looking good. So hope you guys are happy with that. One thing that's a problem for us is Jaheira's ranged capability. So I've checked all of the bows and the crossbows that we have, and she cannot use any of it. So I don't know what to do about that. So any suggestions on that front would be good. So yeah, she's going to have to be a spellcaster primarily.
No one back home will ever
Time
believe this.
for a long rest, but before we do that, we are going to have a chat with everyone about what happened with Gortash. So let's do that.
If Gortash is to be believed, then even our camp isn't safe from Orin's influence. You might want to confirm the veracity of his claim, or at least clean up the mess.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's anything we can do about this whole thing, about the imposter. Is there anything about the imposter in here? Or supposed imposter? Anyway. I suppose maybe...
A shapeshifter infiltrating our number. Like a cuckoo creeping into the nest. A dire threat, if Gortash indeed spoke the truth.
I was gonna say... perhaps it might just, you know, naturally happen as we progress.
At the ready.
Astarion? Do these guys say anything about the whole situation?
Keeping very well, I hope?
Come to bask in the glow of the Moon Maiden's sword?
I need a quick word.
So, we have a shape changer at our camp. Good luck finding her. You could watch out for anyone acting strangely, but, well, you know the lunatics we camp with.
One thing that I would like to look at is Astarion's equipment. I feel like we haven't changed his equipment for a while. So getting a little bit concerned on that front. But
An imposter in our camp. We must identify them. And quickly. Without trust, our fellowship is doomed to wither and die.
Yeah. Not entirely sure if we do actually have anything decent for Astarion, though, for now.
Our camp houses
Voss is an imposter then. Say nothing. Trust no one. Not even me.
Voss has gone underground. He'll be waiting for us there.
Voss has done his duty. Now, we will do ours. We must find our way to the House of Hope and take the Orphic Hammer. When we next enter the Astral Prism, we will use the hammer to break Orpheus free.
Careful. Orpheus, no, not Orpheus. The Emperor might be listening. Let's leave. That armor set looks sick, though. Gotta say. So, who could the imposter be? Like, we've got some other people here, right? Like these two. Yenna?
I brought my own paring knife. Now I just need some ingredients and...
What about Grub?
Please, don't look at me.
Maybe we need to have a sleep for the imposter to reveal itself. So, let's go ahead and do that. And yeah, even more conversations here tonight before we continue.
How can I help?
Let's just do the rounds, just in case.
I never quite realized how burdened I was until I met you. The threat of the Shadow Curse, the politics of the Grove. I was forgetting who I was. But you lifted the fog. Thank you.
Look at our awesome new outfit. That looks really cool. I like it. So the fog's lifted. What have you discovered?
You. I discovered you. I have lived a very long time. I have taken many lovers. My heart does not stir lightly. But it does now.
I don't know if you know, but Shadowheart and I are a bit of a thing at the moment, so... I thought you were bound to nature.
I still have hot blood in my veins. Nature gifted us our desires, and the means to act on them. But we muddied its beautiful simplicity with rules, social strictures, clothes.
Clothes.
So, I am not bound to nature. I am unbound in nature. I want more than to fight at your side, or sit around the campfire with you. I want to lay with you under the stars and feel your skin against mine. I think you feel the same way. Once the power of the Shadow Curse was broken, the connection was undeniable. We both felt it. But tell me I'm wrong, and the matter can rest. I do not wish to sour our friendship, but I have to know if it can be something more.
Damn, well, people weren't lying when they said that a lot of our companions are just like the thirstiest bunch of companions we have. I'm afraid I just don't see you that way.
I understand. And I still cherish our relationship. Still, I could not have forgiven myself had I not taken the plunge. Better to have tried and failed.
Wise words. Alright, I keep looking at this area thinking there must be something here, but... Astarion?
Need something?
Shadowheart?
Aren't you a sight for sore eyes?
And Scratch.
Hope you're keeping well, friend.
Yeah, I'm glad we still have Scratch with us. And that we managed to save him from his fate at the courier's office. With that horrible kennel master.
Always good to talk, my friend.
So it doesn't have anything to say. I guess he already said his 2 cents.
Voss is waiting beneath the city. We'll apprise him of our progress once we have the Orphic hammer in hand.
About his father. Yeah, let's leave. I don't think there's anything else. Jaheira and Karlak. And maybe we check in again with Yenna.
Yes?
Soldier.
I brought my own pair.
Alright, time for that long rest. Probably just use one of these.
I'm no expert, but I don't think vampire spawn should be able to do that.
Vampire spawn? What is she talking about?
Need something?
Huh. Oh yes, that's right. We haven't really told him about the stuff that happened with the monster hunters. I spoke to Ulma, the leader of those monster hunters. She wants us to save their children from Cazador.
You spoke to her? Without me? Gods damn it! Of all the hornet's nest of prod, you had to pick that one! Whatever you told them, it's pointless. Cazador does not have a drop of mercy in his fetid body. Their children are long dead.
You owe them, Astarion. If we can't get their children, at least we can get revenge. Why does he owe them? I don't really understand that part, actually. That may be true, but we need to try.
Are you not listening to me? You can't help them. Their children are gone. If you want to waste your time chasing ghosts, fine. But once we find their little tykes' corpses, you can deliver the news while I am far, far away.
Oh, it got very emotional there for whatever reason. Maybe I'm just having trouble remembering exactly what happened between him and the monster hunters. It's not like we brought him to what's his name? Gandrel, I think. All right, I think we're ready to venture forth. Except, and this is where I really need to get better at doing this, but we need to have a elixir. So I really don't know what elixir to have, and plus, does an elixir affect the entire party or just one person? So that's a bit unclear for me as well. Bark skin, increase our armor class. Where are we at now? I mean, we're at 20. It's pretty good. Bloodlust. You get an additional action from Bloodlust. I don't know, it seems like a waste. We only have 2. Cloud Giant, Dark Vision, Fire Resistance, Hill Giant. Increase your strength to 21. necrotic resistance, peerless focus. Ah, here. This is probably a good one, guys. I'll probably use Elixir of Sea Invisibility. And that is purely because I have a feeling perhaps maybe we might be missing stuff. Yeah, I really wish there was a search function here so that we can just type in Elixir so we can just look at all of our elixirs. Is there a way to sort by just potions? I'll grab this, actually. Yeah. Elixir of Vigilance. +5 bonus to initiative. In addition, you can't be surprised. Replaces effects from other elixirs when drunk. Okay, only blue gets the benefit. So everyone else would need to drink elixirs as well if we were to, you know, have everyone sort of have some kind of benefit from an elixir. I don't know. I think this is decent. Hopefully. And perhaps maybe I do need to, between episodes, maybe make more elixirs and stuff like that with alchemy. So I'll try and do that. Let's go. Oh, Karlach wants to say something.
So there you have it. Lord Enver Gortash in all his glory. What did you make of him?
Can't wait to flatten him.
Not if I get to him first. How could all these people cheer for him like that? Can't they see what a chancer he is?
When people are scared, they'll do whatever it takes to feel safe.
And they expect these big metal monsters to tuck them in at night while the Absolute knocks on the gates. If only they knew the truth. The Dead Three orchestrated all of this. And it's working. I wish this city, the people running it, were smarter than me. Gortash isn't their salvation. He's the monster at the gate.
Well, unfortunately, they aren't smarter than all of us. I suppose they just don't know. We want Scratch in here as well, don't we? Come on, boy. Okay, and will we get his Armor of Agathis on? And let's have that chat with Mizora.
What did I tell you? A momentous occasion. I'm sure you agree.
I've had enough, Mizora. What do you want?
Your attention, little pup. Nothing more. And you'll be glad to give it. You see, Gortash has had your father relocated.
Already? I thought Gortash would want to keep him around.
I'm just an impartial observer. This is Gortash's game. A murderous one, the way I hear it.
Shit.
Your dad's good as dead, pup. And to think, there's no way to save him. Or is there?
You know something.
I know enough. I'll be in your camp if you want to work something out.
Oh, god damn it. Well, I feel like my timing for going back to do a long rest was probably kind of bad.
Of course she'd stick her infernal nose where it doesn't belong. Of course she's dreamt up some risible scheme. By all the hounds of the hells, what is she planning?
Where's Gortash taken your father, do you think?
I couldn't even fathom a guess. Though, I doubt we'll need to wait long for answers. Let's make camp when we're able. Mizora will be waiting. Until then, may my father keep safe, whatever coop he's been flown to.
Okay. I'm hoping we can just simply go to camp and interact with Mizora and not have to do a long rest. Though, if we have to, you know, I guess we've got enough resources for that. So, why not? Let's go to the lower city and see what we can find out there. My assumption is that we can actually return here, but let me just do a save. Just in case. Okay, here we are. I am thinking we are now in Baldur's Gate, and it does just simply say lower city. Plenty more people to speak to, goodness me.
Failure to comply will result in imprisonment and...
Pathway up that way. There's a sigil there. We should just at least get close to it. I guess it's already active, so we should be able to portal back here when we need to. Yeah, we can definitely portal back to some of the other sigils that we've already found. Some chooks in there.
Move along. I've got my hands full enough without gawkers.
You must agree, this is ludicrous. How are we meant to survive without our livelihoods?
I guess these people are trying to get into Worm's Crossing, maybe?
My herd are dairy goats. I bet they're going to slaughter them, the poor things.
My husband's still in the outer city with the few cows we have left. How am I going to tell him we have to give them up?
Are they gonna pay us for the animals they take? Like elves they are!
I wonder if they're taking animals to perhaps turn into food for refugees or something.
There is a food shortage due to absolute raiding activity. Citizens are advised to buy food in moderation so that all may eat.
Okay. Panic buying then. There are a few refugees that have made it into the city proper though. Ooh, notice board. We'll take a look at that obviously.
Oh, you? I know you. How delightful to meet in person. Though, you're shorter than I expected.
Rude. You have me at a disadvantage. I've no idea who you are.
My name's Estra Stir, journalist. I speak to the people of Baldur's Gate, so our readers don't have to.
You work for the Baldur's Mouth Gazette, I presume.
You are quite correct. The best broadsheet around. I would certainly recommend picking up a copy in the near future. You are, after all, the star of the next Baldur's Mouth Gazette.
And what's the headline of that edition?
If I told you, you'd lose the fun of reading it yourself. It's our juiciest edition in an age bound to get everyone talking about you.
Well, let's just hope that it's in a positive light. Don't I get any say in this?
Darling, we can't let the readers decide what the content is. We've editors for that. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've really said rather too much and written rather too little. Good day.
Stop the presses. Jeez, the list is getting way too long. Oh, here. Talk to the editor of the Baldur's Mouth Gazette. Okay, we're gonna star in it. We need to find out why. It's not too far away, actually. So we'll definitely do that. Newshawker Luan.
Hello? Does anyone want to buy a gazette?
Sure, I'll take one.
Thank you.
Let's take a look at that. Baldurian tourists. Schultz, too humid and dangerous. Conflict between Arabellian nobles and cultists of Erdlin drags on. After the Eltrol disaster, how to ward your home against the infernal. No herbal remedies, we promise. The Art of the Steel, Guild Whistleblower speaks out. And the lowest section, minor quakes continue to rattle nerves. Okay, there's gonna be heaps more to do, and there seems to be some kind of an accident or something along those lines going on right in front of us there, but I think this is where we're going to take a break, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, looking forward to a lot of that feedback about the respec and all of the equipment changes that we've made across the board for this episode. If you do have any opinions, definitely drop that down below, obviously. Thanks for watching, stay true, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.